Welcome back, everybody, to 360 Sports Network at 360sportsnetwork.com. I am the Lost Cause, coming to you again with the Pigskin Blink, a daily look at fantasy football and the NFL. It's player stats, previews, reviews, injury reports, and rumors, and everything else to make your fantasy football team hum. Let's get it started with tonight's game as the Philadelphia Eagles come into Seattle on an epic Thursday night between 2, 4, and 7 teams. Yeah. But don't let that record fool you. There are players of fantasy football value. Let's get it started with our look at LaShawn McCoy. Unfortunately, LaShawn McCoy did suffer an injury. He's listed as questionable with a sprained toe for tonight's game. However, he did practice, albeit a limited practice, in yesterday's practice for the Eagles. Now, he's first in the NFL in rushing yards with 1,050. He's first in the NFL with rushing yards per game with 95.5, and he's first in the NFL with touchdowns with 11. So it kind of makes his start, even if it's 50-50 kind of chance for him to be able to start tonight or even play tonight, it kind of makes me lean towards him actually playing, just because, I mean, you know, if you got him on your team, he's the anchor right now. Don't expect a performance like he gave October 30th against the Dallas Cowboys in their win over the Cowboys, 34-7, with 30 rushing attempts for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns and 15 yards receiving as well. Don't expect him to also put up a solid 113 like he did against the Giants 2 weeks ago. No touchdowns, no receiving yards. I think that things are going to get mixed up a little bit. You got to remember, Seattle is giving up about 200 yards passing per contest, a little bit more. They're giving up around 100 yards rushing per game. They're both 25th and 27th in passing yard defense and rushing yard defense. They are 30th in pass defense in the NFL, which makes them kind of smelly. Against Vince Young and this resurged offense behind a head case, or a used-to-be head case of Vince Young, who's trending pretty decently in fantasy football right now, LaShawn McCoy is probably going to finish with about 60 to 70 yards on the ground, a touchdown for sure if he starts, as well as 3 to 4 receptions for about 30 to 40 yards in the air. Possibility of a touchdown there too. Now, Vince Young, I mentioned a little bit ago, I'm getting to be higher on Vince Young as the weeks go on, simply because he's able to put out not great NFL games, but great fantasy football games. In this last game against New England and its losing cause, the Eagles were led by Vince Young on his 26 completions out of 48 attempts for 400 yards. That's a 54 completion ratio. Not that great. 1 touchdown, 1 INT, but also 40 yards on the ground. Add that all up, depending on the league, that's between 22, 23, maybe even 24 points. If you get bonuses, it could be even more, upwards of 30 points for Vince Young. Deshaun Jackson is coming back. He needs to step up his game. Macklin is going to be out this game, so definitely a no play there. However, the 2 big plays, and probably big players that you could get off of the waiver wire right now that are probably going to get between 60 and 80 yards, and probably, I'd say both of them will get a touchdown, is going to be Riley Cooper and Jason Avant. Avant, the last game, really solid game. Riley Cooper keeps stepping it up between 60 and 80 yards, sometimes more, sometimes less, and a touchdown every now and then. I would look for those 2 receivers to outperform Deshaun Jackson if he can't step up his game. He was targeted this last game, but only had 3 receptions. You got to step it up even more than that, especially if you're the quickest guy out there on the field. There would be more touchdown opportunities, and that would allow the Philadelphia Eagles to really get in a nice groove and ride out the rest of the season to maybe a 9-7 kind of finish, especially against, Seattle really should be a win tonight. Seattle's only fantasy option that I can see at this time is going to be Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch, in case you didn't know, you really should ask somebody, is really shaping up to be a solid running back play, a running back 1, and I'm not talking running back 1 like in deeper leagues. I'm talking about a solid running back 1 play in just about every league out there. Against Washington, 111 yards, plus 20 receiving yards and a touchdown. Against Baltimore, 109 and 1 touchdown on the ground and 58 receiving yards. Against Dallas, 135 on the ground and 1 touchdown. He is going to be a solid play against Philadelphia, especially the way that their defense is, especially with the people that are dealing with injury at this time. I'm going to say, because of Rice being placed on the IR, Baldwin really being the only other wide receiver there, that the offense and the offensive output is going to come down to Marshawn Lynch. You can expect about 125 yards on the ground for him, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns, and even between 20 and 50 yards in the air. You might see a touchdown with him receiving too. That's it for me for 360 Sports Network at 360sportsnetwork.com. You can follow us at our Twitter account, which our tag is at 3S Network. If you have any questions, comments, any suggestions at all for me, myself, and I, you can send them to Lost Cause at Fantasy Football Toolkit. That's it for me, everybody. Enjoy the epicness of 4 and 7 teams tonight, everybody. Take it easy.